Welcome to Detroit Prepping. Today I'd like to talk about good neighbors. Now, if you watched any of my previous videos, I'm sure you think I don't believe good neighbors exist, but I assure you they do. When I moved to Detroit in 2008, my next door neighbor was a gentleman named Boo, who was approximately 45 to 50 years old, married, had one child, a teenager, and he took care of his 50-year-old disabled brother. Now, his brother was not disabled due to some horrific accident, a birth defect, or circumstances beyond his control. His brother was confined to a wheelchair, paralyzed on one side of his body, left with the aptitude of a 5-year-old child, and was the sole cause of his condition. Now, he was a drug addict, and through some altercation ended up being beaten so bad that his condition was thought to be a miracle after his hospital stay. Now, Boo was the biggest reason I was able to move from my home to my new home in less than a day. He is still my friend, and though we do not live on the same side of town anymore, a simple phone call is all that would ever be needed between us for any reason. Now, when I moved to my new home, meeting my neighbors was very hard. Most of them did not speak to anybody they saw walking on the street, driving down the street. Most of them kept to themselves, and for the most part were very reclusive. I have met a couple that lives across the street from me. They lived here since I moved into the neighborhood, and they consist of a man and a woman, 2 children at the time, and 2 dogs. They were always very nice to me from the first day I moved in. On many occasions, I was offered fresh fruits and vegetables. Always a good story about what was going on in the neighborhood. And even during power outages or other events that happened in the neighborhood, they were courteous enough to ask me if I needed to charge my cell phone, possibly, if I had water, if I had food to eat. Very, very nice neighbors. To the right of me, next to the squatter's home, a gentleman in excess of 60 purchased that house, and shortly after retired and moved out of state. And though the house has been maintained, it's an unsettling feeling to have such a beautiful home empty, knowing the possibilities. To the right of me, there's an empty home. Not vandalized, but not lived in. Next to that home, my neighbor has been very quiet, very quiet. He always waves. That's the biggest interactions I've ever had with him. One time, when he was walking home from the store, I offered him a ride, and not 2 words may have been spoken between us. Recently, and when I say recently, I met 2 new neighbors, and they are a husband and wife couple. They've been here for approximately 1 year, and they have done everything I dreamed of doing the day I moved here. I told them when I met them that they had to move here at the best time ever. The biggest problem on the street had been removed, and though there were empty homes on the block, most people in the neighborhood at least looked out for them. And though police response times are somewhat slow for issues of vandalism, which is basically what it is determined as, they do arrive, and they do spend time in the neighborhood after maybe in excess of 2 or 3 nights. I find it unfortunate that it took me a year to meet my neighbors across the street. I hope that their experience in the neighborhood is more pleasant than mine was. They have absolutely shown me that people do care, and though there are bad times and hard times, they don't last forever. I hope this video has at least alerted people to the fact that though you may not know your neighbor, there are good men and women among us. How we meet and determine this, if I had the answer, I wouldn't be making these videos. So thank you for coming. I hope you enjoyed, and if nothing else, I hope you have a good day.